Hi there, and welcome back to this episode. We're talking a lot about polyamory. I posted on my Facebook about a week ago, encouraging people to reach out to me with any questions about polyamory or for me as a polyamorous person, and the response was amazing. I got so many great questions, and I'm sharing them here on my YouTube channel, Some Snowman, which is all about love, ultimately, expressed through important factors in my identity as a polyamorous person and as a mystical person and a person who's really into personal and spiritual development. So I want to emphasize that some snowman really isn't about me. It's about love, and it's about everyone involved. So comment on these videos, send me the Facebook questions, request to be my friend on Facebook, and I'm also really excited about the opportunity for guest posts on here. So get in touch with me if you're interested in that and you want to talk about something related to love. So the question for today is, why do you talk about polyamory so much? This is a great question, and it's absolutely true that I do talk about polyamory a lot online and in person. The biggest reason is because it's the truth. It's my truth. I'm a polyamorous person, and I live in a monogamous world, or monogamous dominated mononormative world. And so all the time I'm confronted with just my reality as a poly person, so I'm going to talk about it. More to a rhetorical point here that I think is really important is that I embrace the axiom from feminism, which is that the personal is political. And so truths about my identity and truths about your identity affect the way that we see the world and interact with each other. So if we talk about what's going on in our private lives, what's going on in our homes and in our closets, so to speak, we then are able to connect earnestly and authentically with each other and create a different and more open and honest world with one another. So to say, oh, that's personal, I don't want to talk about that, is to say that really, I think it indicates some shame or some sort of apprehension at the very least about being counterculture or being different than what's the norm. I'm poly. It's the truth. There's so many messages out there about monogamy as a relationship orientation option. I just want to talk about polyamory as a relationship orientation option. So, because I think it makes the world a better place, because it's more true for me to talk about who I am and for you to talk about who you are and why you do the things you do. So the personal is political. Let's look into that more together in future episodes. I think the other and maybe bigger reason that I talk about polyamory is research around homophobia that indicates that most people who are homophobic or have a fear of gays and therefore may attack, sometimes murder, and more often harass, and that can lead to suicide in LGBTQ people, is that the reason they're homophobic is that they don't actually know a gay person. The same is true of polyphobia. Most people who are very strongly resistant, who may fire somebody who is outed as polyamorous, or may not be friends with someone or disown a family member because they're poly, is because they've never, other than this one person or two, met someone that's poly. We're here. There's many of us. I've been poly for over 4 years. It is something that is totally right for me. I chose this way of being, and I found people who also want to do it, and I've had some really strong, enduring relationships. So polyamory is a real thing, and I like to talk about it, and I like to engage people. I think people have a lot of questions. And the last reason I talk so much about polyamory, I was feeling this sense, and then when I met Franklin Vo, someone who online helped me so much, and I had the opportunity to meet him a few months ago. He's one of the authors of the book More Than Two, is that he feels, and I agree, that we are in a stage of the poly movement around outreach, that it's time for us to reach out to non-poly people. For so many years we've been doing our support groups, and I think that's great, and I'm an active member, but I also think we need to reach out to people who aren't poly and talk more about the ethics and the reasons that we're poly and so forth. So that's why I talk about polyamory so much. Thanks for checking it out.